Hey everyone, today we are going to go over the characteristics of absolute rulers in Europe. What's an absolute ruler? Well, let's think about that, okay? That's going to be someone who's like a king or a queen. So the age of absolutism, you're going to need to write down what is in blue on your notes today. So what is an absolute monarchy? That is a system of government where the power of the government is held by one hereditary figure. When it says hereditary, normally it means that it's being passed down through the family, right? So in other words, this is a king or a queen that has unlimited power within their nation. Their nation is absolute. So today we're talking about the 10 characteristics of an absolute monarch. You're going to fill in these notes as we go through this, and then you're going to complete the 10 characteristics of an absolute monarch poster activity where you get to create and illustrate how you think each of the 10 characteristics could be shown visually. All right, so the first is to protect and expand the state. So you're going to write that in the first area there. An absolute monarch takes steps to defend their kingdom by creating an army that answers to them. So that means that they are having the military answer to them when they're having wars or when they're trying to protect the country. They also seek to expand their kingdom through conquest. Remember, we talked about this with Spain, right? The conquistadors. Those were definitely an absolute monarchy would be Spain. They also seek to expand their kingdom through conquest, colonization, or extending their influence. It might mean extending their influence, meaning this. That means that they're trying to kind of extend their cultures, their values, etc., to other areas in the world. The second is to maintain public order. Obviously, this picture on the left shows that public order is not exactly being maintained. An absolute monarch attempts to avoid uprisings and rebellions by force or by compromising with their citizens. So they're trying to keep the peace is basically what that's saying, maintaining public order. A lot of times laws are put into place to help maintain public order. Next is to win the support of the nobility. An absolute monarch has to find a way to gain the trust and support of the noble family. So in order to do that, the monarch tries to limit the power of the nobles in order to increase their own power. So the noble families are kind of right underneath the absolute monarchs. And they're kind of the right-hand men, you could say, to all of the monarchs. But the monarchs have to kind of appease them in order to get their power to be more than the nobles. All right, next is control the nobility. An absolute monarch uses multiple means to control the nobility. This could mean bribing them or keeping them nearby to watch them. A lot of noble families live in the palace along with the royal family, so they can kind of keep an eye on them. And if you look at these images, look at these palaces, guys. They're gorgeous and huge. So think about this. They could go many, many, many days where the royal family doesn't even see the nobles because of how large the palaces are. All right, next is to promote economic growth. An absolute monarch uses economic principles to increase the nation's wealth. So this could include trade, colonial expansion, or investing in technology or education within their country. So that's making sure that the nation's wealth grows. Remember, we talked about that idea of mercantilism and wanting to be the richest, okay? Absolute monarchs are totally about that. All right, next. Maintain an independent source of income. An absolute monarch maintains their own source of income that they can spend on their own projects. So this could be through private ownership of land, royal colonies, or royal taxation. So that means they kind of have a bucket of money that they keep to their own that they're going to spend on their own projects, kind of like a little salary they're getting. Next is developing nationalism. Guys, nationalism is something that's going to carry with us now until the very end of the school year. So this is a super important word that you need to remember is nationalism. You might want to star that on your paper. An absolute monarch attempts to increase a strong emotional attachment to the nation through positive imagery, national anthems, or military successes. There are several different ways that the United States shows nationalism. You guys might want to talk about that as a group and how the United States shows nationalism, especially in the midst of tragedy or in the midst of something really great to celebrate. All right, the eighth characteristic of an absolute monarch is to inspire loyalty. An absolute monarch is able to convince the citizens to have a sense of loyalty to them, trying to make them feel loyal, okay? That could be in the way they dress. It could be in the way they speak to other people. It could be in the way that they set laws, right? They want to do things that are going to make the citizens a little bit happy so that way they're able to trust in them. Number 9, using the power of the law. An absolute monarch uses police forces, military forces, and the court systems to their advantage to achieve their goals. So an absolute monarch kind of twists the system a little bit to make sure that things are going in his way, not necessarily the citizens' way. And a lot of times he does that without the citizens even noticing. All right, 10 is to establish a sense of purpose. And that means an absolute monarch creates a sense of purpose within their nation. Examples of that could be religious defense, expansion, or creating a trade network. So here's what you're going to do on your poster, and you have the rest of class to work on this. So that is the beauty of you getting to start this now, okay? So to show that you understand those 10 characteristics, and some of them are pretty simple, you are going to write the word absolute monarch in the middle of your poster. And guys, it's a poster, but it's really on the back of your piece of paper for this. So you have instructions that are on your handout that says 10 characteristics poster and has those bubbles on it. I want you to flip that paper over and you're going to create your own on there, right? So the word absolute monarch and the definition need to be in the middle of your poster. Then you need all 10 characteristics surrounding the definition. You don't have to use bubbles if that's too small for you and you want more space. Make it cover the whole piece of paper. That's fine. All 10 characteristics need to surround the definition. You need a visual picture for each characteristic. Okay. Now, some of the definitions you can totally, shorten them. They don't have to be everything that was on that slide, guys. It just needs to be the heading. Okay. So for example, if we look back at 9, you would just write, use the power of the law, and then draw your picture underneath of that. Okay. For all 10 characteristics. So you need a visual picture for each characteristic. Make it colorful, and you need to finish this for homework if not in class, okay? This is due tomorrow. You need to make sure it has color on it. I am taking it for a minor assessment grade to make sure we understand what those 10 characteristics are of absolute monarchs. It's super important because this is our unit now with the Age of Reason. We're talking about absolute monarchs, and we're talking about the Enlightenment next week. So make sure that you are definitely understanding what these 10 characteristics are. They're going to follow us right up until our assessment. Okay, make sure you go ahead and get started on this. Use your time wisely. If you need to use my supplies, you can, but those need to be put back away before you leave class. This doesn't mean that this is social hour. This needs to be a time to work and be productive to get this poster done. Some of you will not finish, so it is homework if you do not finish in class. Please continue to be on your best behavior for Ms. Rothwell. You're doing a great job so far. I cannot wait to see you next week. I miss you all. Be on your best behavior, and I will see you soon.